There are stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
My Nerd World.
Welcome to My Nerd World and episode number 29 of the Star Wars podcast. I am your host, John Justice, and what you're listening to right now is what is, in my opinion, the first fail in the marketing of Star Wars The Force Awakens. This is Pentatonix, and I'll admit, I'm a little out of the loop when it comes to a lot of the popular music as of late. So I had never heard of Pentatonix prior to the American Music Awards this week, and that they were an a cappella group. But of course, being a fan, I was compelled to watch, just like a lot of people were, because we want to know what this is all about, right? So it's an a cappella group, and they are a cappellaing the Star Wars theme. Here's a question I have. If you've got the orchestra, they had a 70-piece orchestra at the AMAs, right? If you've got the orchestra, why do you need the a cappella group? It just didn't work on any level, in my opinion. It just came off as silly. You know, but you have to have things like this, though. Right? You have to have... Okay, I can't continue. You have to have things like this to prove that you're not a Star Wars apologist, right? Especially if you're a prequel fan. You have to have things like Pentatonix, or however it's pronounced. I really don't care. You have to have things like that to sit back and go, okay, I love Star Wars, but that was pretty bad, right? They did show a new clip during the American Music Awards. We'll get to the clip here coming up in a little bit. New audio, more TV spots, more audio to dissect on the podcast. I want to talk a little bit about Rogue One, because while we're all focused on The Force Awakens, obviously, there is another movie that's going to be out in just a little bit over a year. And watching Rebels this week, and I'll get to where my head is at on this. Watching Rebels this week, that Rebels episode was awesome. And it was awesome for a very specific reason that I will get into. But it got me thinking about Rogue One and whether or not Rogue One was kind of the sleeping giant in this whole Star Wars revival, if you will. And maybe that's the wrong word to use, but you know, there hasn't been a lot of focus on it, and I've been kind of wondering, you know, what the hype will be around Rogue One and how it's going to relate to The Force Awakens. And we really don't know, but if they get the tone of that right, I think that it has a really, really big opportunity. And I'll explain that a little bit later on in the podcast. I'm going to keep it relatively spoiler-free until the end of the podcast. The track list for the soundtrack list was released. And it, not released, it leaked. And it provides some pretty big plot reveals and confirmation of spoilers that we've heard about the movie. It pretty much locks it down and you know, lets us know, okay, those spoilers were real. The one thing that I found interesting about it was that while I still believe we haven't seen a good... Well, we know we haven't seen a chunk of the movie, right? We're still maybe 6 minutes worth of the film in its entirety. I actually think that I may have been off base in thinking that they haven't shown us all the portions of the movie. I know there are big parts of the movie that we haven't seen, especially a lot of the stuff in space. But based off of all the trailers, and I've watched them a lot now, if you go to my YouTube page, if you just search the John Justice Show on YouTube, you'll find my YouTube channel there. Not only do we broadcast the show there live, but I have a playlist that's open to the public, and it's all the clips so far. So if you're looking for a place that has collected all the TV spots and the trailers, it's available there on my YouTube page. There's an extra video there too that I'll talk about here in a little bit. But knowing what I know about the movie and knowing what I know about the plot, they've actually shown quite a few sections of the film, especially with some of the most recent trailers too, because I haven't seen the footage yet, but apparently ESPN Sports Center today played at least a shot or a moment from the film of X-Wing fighters heading what looked like through an asteroid field towards a planet with the Millennium Falcon in the lead. Very indicative of the final battle on the Death Star from A New Hope. And as a matter of fact, I need to make a note here because there was a part of the podcast that I wanted to discuss today, and I just reminded myself of that. So, based off the footage, it actually looks like they've shown us quite a few different parts of the entire movie. And while I still think there are chunks missing, this is coming from the angle where in previous podcasts I had kind of been going off the assumption that we've only seen the first third of the film and no shots from the rest of the movie. And I'm beginning to see now, no, we're getting little tiny glimpses of the entire movie. Including some amazing shots in the trailer that I'll play for you in just a moment. So, audio clips today. We'll talk a little Rogue One, talk about this Reason article, which also has a video that goes with it. And again, that's available on my page, on my YouTube page. And then we'll get a little bit into spoilers. So let's go off the clips first. And since we played you that awful Pentatonix acapella version of that, it was just bad. I just thought it was bad. I didn't like it. I just did. If you feel differently, if you're listening live right now, if you feel differently and you're tuned in live, the chat is open. So if you want to chat over to me with a question or a comment anytime during the show today, feel free to do so. I got the chat open via the Spreaker app, and so you can chat over to me if you've got a comment on something that I'm talking about. So during that American Music Awards performance, they actually played the first clip of the film. Now, this clip was basically an extension of some shots that we've seen already of Finn, Rey, and BB-8 escaping on Jakku and running with an explosion behind them, and then they run up to the quad jumper, which you'll hear in just a moment, and it explodes. This is kind of a larger segment of that clip that we've seen in trailers. I don't think it's the entire segment. Usually when they put out these clips like this, they still cut them up, so when you see the final movie, the scenes are a little bit longer. I remember as a kid seeing on that Today Show, they showed the escape from Jabba's sail barge from Return of the Jedi, and they also showed the speeder bike chase. And I remember recording them as a kid on a VHS tape and watching them over and over and over again. And it was really funny, too, because just as a quick side note, my brother made for me Star Wars toys. He made me an amazing Millennium Falcon. I mean, it was so cool. I liked it better than the regular toys. But I wanted to go and make my own toys. And I remember I took a block of it was this little tiny block of wood, and I stuck two. It was like almost balsa wood. I stuck two toothpicks in the front of it, sticking out of the front, and I turned it into my own speeder bike for my action figures. But it was just funny because it was almost art at the time because it was almost abstract in its simplicity of it being a speeder bike, the two prongs sticking out in front. And I remember seeing the movie and getting the toy and thinking, wow, that wooden one I made didn't look anything like the speeder bike at all. But I remember seeing and watching both of those clips, the escape from Jabba's barge and the speeder bike chase, and then seeing it in the theater and going, oh, wow, this is a lot longer than what they showed. So all that being said, this clip here, I believe, is going to be a lot longer. Again, Finn, Rey, BB-8 running away on Jakku. This is before we believe they board the Millennium Falcon, and the shots we've seen in the trailer. Explosions going off in the background. BB-8 trying to catch up as they are attempting to escape the TIE fighters of the First Order.
We cannot run them!
We might! In that quad jumper!
Hey, we need a pilot!
We've got one!
You!
And again, it's just a quick little shot, 15, 16 seconds. But man, it feels like Star Wars, right? Let's play it again. Just for fun.
We cannot run them!
We might! In that quad jumper!
Hey, we need a pilot!
We've got one!
You!
I hope that Rey, because in some of the leaked concept art, Rey owned that quad jumper, and it looks almost identical to what we've seen in the trailer. And as a matter of fact, I think the original teaser trailer that aired about a year ago this week, when you see BB-8 rolling by, I'm pretty sure you can see the quad jumper sitting in the background. So I wonder if whether or not she owns it. I want a quad jumper. It's a really cool ship. I can't wait till the next wave of toys comes out, because there are many vehicles that I really want to get my hands on. The quad jumper being one of them, and then Kylo Ren's command shuttle, which I'm pretty sure they changed it. They changed it after some of the details for the artwork, merchandise, and the toys came out, because there's no Hasbro version of Kylo Ren's ship, and the body of it looks a bit like the nose of the Imperial shuttle, the tri-wing Imperial shuttle, but it's got those two massive wings on the side. In all of the original artwork, it was either black or white, so I think they changed the color, unless it was just a matter of some of the proofs that they got that the toy or art manufacturers got from Disney made it look like it was white. Because I'm looking at the Titanium series diecast right now, and I've got a Micro Machines one and it's black, and I've got a larger Titanium series diecast one and it's white. But in all the artwork and on the toys, the wings stick straight up. And this confused everybody. I talked about this on a previous podcast. This confused everybody because in the trailer, in the second teaser trailer, you saw Kylo Ren's ship from behind with the wings fanned out. And now we've seen in subsequent trailers it landing and the wings are folding in. And we've also seen that extended scene taken from Path of the Jedi at Disneyland of the ships leaving what looks to be Jakku and heading towards the Star Destroyer. You actually see them coming towards the camera, and then they pan by, and you can tell the wings are fanned out. And it looks really, really cool. But I'm wondering if they didn't do that originally, if originally the wings just stuck straight up and down. But I really want to get my hands on that toy when it comes out. So I've heard some rumors that December 11th we're supposed to get a new crop of toys, but I haven't heard anything official in that regard. All right, and speaking of Kylo Ren, let's go ahead and get to the audio from the newest TV spot. I think there may have been one in between. There was one in between. There was one of another short TV spot that had new dialogue that I don't think we've covered on the show yet, but I didn't grab the audio for it. And it was Maz Kanata, we assume talking to Rey, saying the object that you seek is... I can't remember.